Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's the house! Huh?
Well, whatever it is, the audio over here didn't work. Let's see. Where is that damn thing? I gotta get the, it's gotta play. It's gotta play. Where is it? What the hell is happening? Like, stuff just disappeared off my computer just in the little time that this thing was started. It's crazy. Let's see, where is that? Right there. Okay. Got it. Let's see, can we play? There we go. I just want to play that sound. Okay. Don't know where the hell it went. Well, anyways, I was just on news station, Court TV earlier. Hopefully it went okay. Don't really know. I was hoping, that people were going to show up. Who the hell knows? All I know is that they said on there that all 4 victims' DNA was on the knife sheath, and I don't think that's the case. I think if that was the case, that would have been a really big story, And I can't find anywhere. If you guys know anywhere at all, like what page it's on. I've seen the sheath. We've seen the images of the sheath in here, and they kind of talked about what part they swabbed. But man, there's so many pages, it's hard to like scroll by and find it again. I don't know what page those were on. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't think I saw that one. So those are those tire tracks. Man, those stuck out like a sore thumb. Look at that. Man, I never saw a picture like that clear. That's like really came around, zoof, really hustling. I mean, that's like clear. I wonder if those fit. Oh, the volume's low. Oh, that's because I was on another one of those streaming apps. So probably oh yeah, jeez, that had me down to 8 out of 100. So there we go. How about now? Is that better? But hey, guys, is there any chance you guys tonight we need to try to make up? Last night was our lowest night we've had in, I don't know, almost 2 months. So if we could get the support up for the channel tonight, I would appreciate it. I don't know any other way to ask, but that's just the way it is. So if you have the ability to, I would appreciate it. Now let's see what these say here. I want to read these texts. I hadn't seen these before. It's Jenny, do you have the suspect's residence locked down? Are you getting a search warrant? We are past Grangefield, just past Cottonwood. FYI, it's apparently a violation of CJIS policy to have those photos on the global drive. It was recommended that you move them immediately. Hey, thanks, Christine. Well, can't do anything about it tonight. We are at the A&W. Okay, that's right up the street. Please let me know when this is at 9:39 on the 17th, when you're done with briefing. Thanks. On my way. Great. We'll see you here. It's Mountain Dew Zero acceptable. Never mind, found that. Sorry to leave without probably talking to you again. Let me know if anything comes up. Otherwise, we'll see you at about 7:45 a.m. Sounds good. Enjoy the eats. You all get some rest. Good job today. Thank you. I hope you get some rest tonight. I'm up at man, I don't know if I was part of that like investigative team, I think I'd be awake every second, you know. You schedule a web meeting. I might be delayed. Did you guys photo each window to show the position of the lock when you arrived? Yeah, I mean, so in that interview with because it's Emily, she mentioned something about, or was it Emily? Who was that? No, it was the DoorDash driver said that the door was open, the slider. But when you watch the video of Nunez coming in, it looked like it's about half open. So maybe that counts. But all right, let's see. So they got these photos in here. Latent print processing report is approved. Nice. And any print appearing, no prints on the sheath. Sorry, not better news. It is what it is. That biology has better results with the evidence they're processing. Hopefully, thank you again for all your teams. And then here it says, you bet. Have to help wherever you need us. Good morning. Thought I just had... We will need to get fingerprints from the 2 surviving roommates. If you could get those, they could be sent in the next batch of evidence. I think Tara is planning to start on latents this morning. Copy that. The staining and destining needs the staining and I'm not sure what destining needs. Drywall replacement. Yes, it's ruined and hazardous. That's what I keep telling them. Because it's a stain, I don't think you can effectively clean it off a surface. And using a chemical to dry clean it could potentially cause other problems. Best to just replace. Yuppers. Can you call when you get a minute? I know you're busy. We just got to the D2 office. We will be there shortly. I'm waiting for the file transfer to finish. I wonder why they're putting these in here. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. Let's see. We'll be there shortly. I'm waiting for a file transfer to finish. Not a problem. Will they need to do any photographs of him? So this is January. This is in... These right here, we just got to the D2 office. This is right when the arrest was being made. So this is about the Othram Labs here. I'm an employee of Othram
Inc. My job duties at Othram require me to perform genetic analysis or forensic genetic genealogy. I'm aware Othram was a contract to provide in-house FGG testing for Idaho State Police Forensic Services and other law enforcement agencies. I'm not sure if that goes. Doesn't look like it. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to find the Sheath information. I mean, it seems like you typed that in. K-bar sheath, 1 swab on front strap. Maybe this will be it. Results from presumptive chemical test performed on item 1 indicated the presence of blood. Item 1 was swabbed for DNA collection. Trace evidence was collected from the item. Items 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4 were forwarded for DNA analysis. Results will follow in a separate report. So there's 4 different 1.1. Those are different locations they swab from. Let's see, biology analysis notes. Brown paper bag, knife sheath, tan leather K-bar knife sheath, USMC with logo and snap button strap on front. Used 1 swab to swab the front strap, 1.1, light gray transfer to swab. Consumptive, use 1 swab to swab edge on handle portion. Let's see. Yeah, item 1.2, V light brown transfer to swab. I want to find, okay, this is where a sheath image is in here where they swabbed. So I guess this is that portion I was looking for. And there's a whole bunch of misting of blood on the back of this. I think that was Kaylee's, I think. And at the end, does it talk about what DNA they found on it? I haven't been able to find how they came up with all 4 victims' DNA was on the knife sheath. I think that would be like startling new information if it was really real information. Description, conclusion, and interpretation statement below. Let's see if they talk about. No. There's the K-bar again. Hey, thanks Christine again. Is there anybody else out there that would like to help support the channel tonight? We barely, last night we were half of just a normal basic night, and now we're behind. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. Item 6.1, and thanks Christine, bought 5 memberships for potential freaks. We'll see. Item 6.1, 7.1, swab from item 4. Item 4, submitted swab and debris from... Yeah, there was one portion, it was right around page 600, that was sort of interesting to me. Let's see if I can find it. There's just so many different random pages in here. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. I mean, it would make sense if Xana and Ethan were attacked first. And that's what I believed in originally, but I don't believe that all 4, individuals' DNA was on the knife sheath. So I'm not going to go, ooh, now I can make my original theory work. It just doesn't make any sense. Hello, Mariska. Hello, Paulette, Sandy Shirley, Monique, Lori, Barbara, Lisa V. Jack Craig. Bruce Holdaway. How's it going? Where was that? It was. I tried to put a. It doesn't let you edit this thing. So like all these different places they had blood-stained markers. Now, one of the questions I was asked was, why isn't there blood all over the place? Like the footprints and all that. And I don't think he stepped in any. I mean, that's the truth of it. It's like they have, when you look at the crime scene photos, there wasn't blood all over the hallways or etc. So Maddie and Kaylee were both killed on Madison's bed, right? So all the blood would soak in, other than just some random, the cast off or something like that. So it was all on that bed. Okay, and then Ethan was killed on the bed. And then, so Xana had blood in various places, but he didn't have to step in it. That's the thing, is everybody thinks that it's like the movie Carrie with Sissy Spacek, where there's blood all over the place, and you're slipping and falling in it on the ground. And I know. That's what it was. The major contributor on the Sheath was Kaylee, and the other one was Madison. Now, maybe there was a couple other, sort of DNA. I looked it up earlier. It said that, I think it said that Kaylee was the major contributor. I'm just trying to find the one thing I was looking at. Unfortunately, my bookmark disappeared. That might be right after this. I think it is. And I don't know if you guys saw that when I took this drawing and then folded it in on itself. Where the heck is it? Is it right here? No. That's frustrating. Yeah, that's not where it was. So maybe it's like 6. Maybe it's up higher. So you had that. Item, for example, bearing the name Ethan Chapin. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. It was talking about these marks on the wall where, like, it was Kaylee and Madison. And they seem to be referring to different pictures that we may have had out there. Yeah, I don't know where it is now. Let's see. I don't know where they came up with that. I mean, that's such a dramatic thing to say, like that all 4 victims' DNA was on the sheath. And so I guess that's the problem. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Vinny just goes with what he, like information that he has out there. What they're telling the producers put out. So I don't know if they got misinformation somewhere. I just don't think that is reality. And I even asked Olivia, and she didn't. She goes, no, that's not accurate. Maybe it was right in this area. Maybe. Is it right there? Yeah, there's just so much. I mean, 2,300 something pages. I don't want to go to that page, Hank. Thanks. Let's see, as a parent and even grandparent, I feel so physically sick thinking of the fear and pain those 4 kids got. Yeah, we were just at 262 a minute ago. Right here. That's where we were at. Oh, maybe that was the... that actually could be, because I remember the septillion. That's what I should have looked up. It was some odd number septillion. So maybe that is that spot. That's so weird. How come I had it 600 and something? Man, there's too many. Right. That's the page. That's the page. Right. This is what I was looking at earlier today. I don't know why I was in the 600. So thanks for giving me that. Let's see. Swab of the front strap of knife sheath. That's 1.1. 1.2. Swab of edges on handle portion of knife sheath. Swab of edges on blade portion of knife sheath. 1.4 is swab of stains on back of knife sheath. And then down here it says, this is where I was reading earlier. It says, the DNA analysis employing the polymer chain reaction was used to generate a short tandem repeat profile from items 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4, and a portion of items 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, 18, 19. The DNA profile obtained from item 1.1 was determined to be an unknown male, Ethan Chapin, and are not a source of the DNA. And they mentioned some other person. Are not the source of the DNA. The DNA profile was entered into the combined DNA index system CODIS to be routinely searched against the database. The case agency will be notified in the event of a profile match. All right. Is there any chance we can have tonight can be not like last night, where you guys are supporting the channel and I don't have to ask 1,700 times? Is there a possibility? Because I hate the feeling, you know, and I hate the feeling of people not supporting the channel. I don't know what I can do here. I am, you know, I even asked YouTube, I go, what's going on? I mean, they were like, I don't know. We don't know what's going on. I mean, how come you're, you know, when you put out a video that's really good and you get 2,000 views, something's happening. So basically, I'm just relying on you guys to support the channel like we've done for years. So if you have the ability to, I would appreciate it. This DNA profile was entered into the combined DNA index CODIS to be routinely searched. The DNA profile obtained from 1.4, which I remember going up and looking like this earlier, on the back of the knife sheath. So those are those little fine misting items. Hey, 2 months. All right, Lisa Belson. Items 1.1 and 1.4 were consumed during testing. However, DNA extract remains for these items, so they still have that. But it was up here. The DNA profile obtained from item 1.4 indicates a mixture of DNA with a major profile which matches that obtained from the known reference sample of Kaylee Gonzalez. See, that's it right there. Wow, look at that. Lisa V, 32 months. Hey, thanks, Lisa Belson. Very cool. Yeah, last night was one of our lowest night in like 2 months, and it gets really nervous time at those moments for the month, you know. You're still a noob? 1 month. Wow, it's 1 month longer than other people. You've been here longer than a month. Jeez. No way. So that means that I can put it up right here, look. See, there was DNA on the back. I think this one might be clearer. There's these dots on, no, this one right here. Here we go. See how you can see these little misting dots here? All those? on the back. And now, easily, it could be from both victims on the back there. And you get those from coughing. It looks similar to high impact. Welcome all the new channel members. The DNA profile obtained from item 1.4 indicates a mixture of DNA with a major profile which matches that obtained from the known reference sample of Kaylee Gonzalez. Assuming a two-person mixture, this DNA profile is at least 757 septillion. That's 7.57 times and then 26 zeros. More likely to be seen if were the result of a mixture of DNA from Kaylee Gonzalez and an unrelated randomly selected individual than if it was resulted from two unrelated individuals randomly selected from the general population. Madison Mogen is a potential contributor to the minor component. When you say potential, it's almost ludicrous to say potential because it's 48.6 quintillion times more likely to be seen. So it's like there isn't enough people to make it possible, really even reasonable to believe it's somebody else. So that means the minor contributor was Madison Mogen. And then right here it says Ethan Chapin, Xander Kernodle, and then I guess it probably lists some other people that, are out there that they were testing, are excluded as contributors to the DNA mixture. So that's the DNA mixture to the back. The partial DNA profile obtained from item 1.2, which is the swabs of edges on the handle portion of the knife sheath. Now, thanks for getting me the right page. This is exactly the page I was looking for. I don't know why the hell I was on page 600. I mean, in my mind, I thought it was 600 and something. I don't know. I don't get it. Now, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of stupid to say potential, like it's like there's some other person in the 17 trillion planet Earths that you would have to be able to, it's even worse than that. It's like the universe, basically. It's crazy. That says the partial DNA profile obtained from item 1.2 indicates a mixture of DNA from 3 individuals, at least one of which is male. Due to the low level results and limited data, no comparisons can be made. That was on 1.2. The partial DNA profile obtained from item 1.3, which is the blade portion, right? So that would be, so basically if you looked at this right here. Hey, thank you, Tumbleweed.
Thank you.
This is the handle.
Emoji.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys' generosity. It just keeps us moving along. I mean, we're in a place right now where there isn't really any big cases. I do have something that you guys remember, that case that was in Indiana, and it was the cabin that burned down. I forgot the name. Like, it had a name. It was a cabin that burned down in like 1960s or 70s, and they found the ring and that sheriff. But they had another case recently with that somebody just pled guilty, and he sent me all of the case files. I mean, you guys think? I think it's a case where the husband poisoned and killed her husband, her husband, and then the daughter was involved too. Would you guys be interested in that? I mean, I've got like the interrogation videos, the 911 call, everything. I mean, would you guys be interested in that at all? I guess it's going to be on like Dateline or something like that. I think it'd be awesome, But again, it's not one of the big cases. So we're in this crazy lull. So I'm sort of counting on the freaks to help get us, get my channel through it, because it's, yesterday was one of those, ooh, man, we were doing so well. And currently, right now, tonight, we are at not even 50% of a goal. So if you guys can please help support the channel, that would be awesome. And it's Amy Darcy Marie. Oh, you would be? Okay. I mean, I've got it.
I would be interested. Soon emoji.
Yeah, and so it's the same sheriff. He actually said, "Hey, you want these?" And it was pretty cool. And then he said he might even be able to come on and talk about it too. So that would be a really neat, just kind of go over it from the beginning and see what we can, just look at it. I mean, the thing is, she pled guilty. The wife killed herself, actually. The other person that was going to be charged, before she could get arrested, she killed herself. So the only one remaining was the daughter, and then she pled guilty and got 50 years in prison. A hard 50, not like, oh, well, there's parole and a certain amount of... It's like it was 45 to 50 years was the sentence, and the judge gave... Well, I don't know. Maybe there is parole after a certain amount of time. But it got 50 years. But anyways, so when they're talking about in this one, the handle portion that's right here, the blade portion is this portion, and the edges are what they swabbed. And so that's right down here. It says the partial DNA profile obtained from item 1.3 indicates a mixture of DNA from at least 2 individuals, at least one of which is male. Due to the low-level results and limited data, no comparisons can be made. Isn't that weird that you can actually get that level of DNA where you can tell it's a male or female, but then after that you can't really determine anything? It seems like if you have enough to do that. See, here's where we need to get. We need to get to a point where inside of a mixture you can isolate large number of cells from one of the mixtures, one of the contributors to the mix, and then grab one cell, for God's sakes, and take out the DNA from the cell and get an entire sequence from that one cell. That would be amazing. All right, here we go. It says, well, then so due to the low levels of DNA, so that 1.3 was the edges of the blade portion. And then items 1.1 and 1.4 were consumed during testing, like they used it. However, DNA extracts remain for those items. So when they say 1.1, that's the snap. That one was the crucial portion. 1.1. However, DNA extracts remain for these items. However, it looks like items 1.2 and 1.3 and their DNA extracts were consumed during testing. They're gone. There's no more DNA from those. Item 20 had been returned to the main laboratory evidence vault, that's probably the Sheath, pending additional DNA analysis. All other items and the empty packaging for items 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 have been returned to the main laboratory evidence vault. Remarks, the description, conclusion, and interpretation stated above apply to the samples as received. I declare under... So, I mean, I don't know where they got that all 4 victims were on the knife sheath at all. Do you guys? Well, right now, if we get 24 more channel memberships, we'll at least get to the minimum level goal, which we weren't even close to yesterday. So that's where we're at. That's how slow it is even now. I mean, it's just it's crazy. Who do you think the DNA male is? Great. I don't know. It could be him. It says it didn't exclude him. Well, it said unknown, so I guess it might not be his. I mean, it just doesn't matter who it is. Yeah. Like up here, the Probriggers care about this shit. Like, hey, the partial DNA profile obtained from 1.2 indicates a mixture of DNA from 3 individuals, at least one of which is male. Now, that could be Koberger. And the other 2 could be Kaylee and Madison. But due to the low-level results and limited data, no comparisons can be made. So I think that's, probably Koberger, right? Thank you, Wild Bill Wassman. The one man last night. You know what we need tonight? We need some challenges. Those work. Those seem to help get to the goals. No, but they would have tested it later, But I see what you're saying. I mean, what's the date? Yeah, I guess it's... the date on here is 11/16. So... but we would really be looking at 1.1. But also, it wouldn't matter because they didn't... I just read to you why it doesn't matter. Hey, thank you, Aslovin. I just read to you. It says, due to the low-level results and limited data, no comparisons can be made. So even if Koberger's DNA was in the system, they wouldn't have been able to make a comparison. At least 2 individuals, at least one of which is male. So this is one here. Due to the low level... So again, they have the same problem. They cannot make a comparison even though there is male DNA on the... I think it's the blade portion. 1.4 had Kaylee and Madison on there. That was the back of the knife. 1.1 is the button snap, and if you notice, I don't even know, let's see. This is right here. So that's interesting, right? The DNA profile obtained from item 1.1 was determined to be an unknown male. Boom. That's Koberger right there. Okay, so that one is Koberger, an unknown male. Down here, they say, all they can say, it's a male, and they don't know if it's unknown or not. They just can't test it. This could be a known male. Oh, yeah, it's a known male, And maybe if they had DNA, I'm sure it would match Brian Koberger again. So does that make sense, everybody? That's kind of interesting when you go over this. So when this very first portion up here, the DNA profile obtained from item 1.1 was determined to be from an unknown male. They could test that. They just don't know who it is. That's what led to doing genetic genealogy. And then 1.2, this is DNA. It said there's a mixture, and there's at least one male in there, but they can't even make a comparison because there's too little data. 1.3, exactly the same thing. They know that there's male DNA in there. They just can't test it because there's very little data on it. And then 1.4, the DNA profile obtained was a mixture with, and this is the back of the knife sheath. So this is where you have that misting. There's definitely blood on there. So this makes complete sense now, right? I mean, this is very understandable. Makes complete sense. The DNA profile obtained from 1.4, where you literally see blood droplets, is a mixture of DNA, and it's Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan. And assuming, and then it doesn't say, let's see, profile which matches. It's a mixture, and it says more likely to be seen, blah, blah, blah. Madison Mogan is a potential contributor. She is the contributor to the minor component. And then it said, and that's it. So that's all there was on there. Ethan Chapin's anachronodal are excluded. I mean, not only does it say that they're not all 4 on there, right here, the one portion you know, in this segment, it actually literally says that Ethan Chapin and Xander Kernodle are excluded as contributors. See that? All right, guys, we need 22 more channel memberships. Can the freaks do it? All combined together. That's the only way to get to the... That's the minimum level goal. It's still, that's even like 100 away from me being able to donate the 5 that I've been doing. Let's see. Wow. So there you go. That was the answer. Thanks for getting me on the right page. Sorry for my... I don't want to go to that page. I just... I thought it was in the 600 realm. You were right. Yeah, I just happened to be watching when I was... you know, I was watching as I'm waiting to go on, and they just kept talking about it. I mean, I think even... I think every guest was a little bit... There was one that just went right into it like it was real, but even Joseph Scott Morgan didn't seem like he... You know, just didn't jive, you know. I think I would have said, oh, I didn't know that. That doesn't really make sense given the information that we have. If law enforcement had seen that there was DNA from all 4 victims on the knife sheath, I think they would have had a different theory of the case, which might have even involved like Xana and Ethan being attacked first, because it wouldn't make any sense at all for there to be their DNA on that knife sheath given, you know, I would say that. That's the thing is, I would say that. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, we have a coffee from Lisa there. Hold on. All right. Yeah, see, there was another... That's great. Yeah, see. Yeah, got another win on the side there. Let's see. I'm sure Vinny is not happy. Yeah, I did. I mentioned to him after the show, and he just said, "Oh, let me ask my producers," and then he said, "Oh, they all went home." So I'm not sure where they got that from. We need to get somebody to do a challenge of some sort. Here's the bill. Yeah, isn't that funny? Like all 4 of those items that were tested, they're trying to get restitution for the cost of testing those. Yeah, so, you know, I think that is, I mean, it's really... I was looking at this earlier. I didn't really put some of these stuff together. You know, that's what's cool about working through something. Sometimes on a show, you're just looking at it and then you go, oh. You know, you can see it. I mean, basically, you just take this here. I mean, I think if you were going to build something out, you would do something like this. Here, maybe we can... make something. How about that? Let me just make a... Oh boy, we're back to last night again. Sort of got going at the beginning of the show, and then it just dead. All right, I'm gonna... If you take that, yeah, see that's right there. And then you go down to 1.1 and grab this. Thanks, Sandy Shirley. All right, so you got that, and then we're gonna go to 1.2. Right here. I'm just building like this little, it's going to look like this. So it'll be really easy. And go down to 1.2. And that is right here. There, and then 1.3. I mean, this is really the key to the case are these 4 swabs, basically. The 1.1 is the key. 1.4 is an interesting one. The other 2 aren't really interesting, other than it's probably Koberger's DNA there. Oh, Wild Bill Wassman did a challenge. If we can get 5 memberships, I will buy 5 memberships. Okay, there you go. So we need 4 more. Let's see if the freaks can do it. Thank you, Wild Bill Wassman. Okay, right there. Just like that. I think this will look pretty cool. Well, look at that. There's Lisa Belson, and very kind, very kind. See if we can get the... All right, then 1.4, and then we'll be done with this little graphic. I think it'll be perfect. Ah, jeez. Come on. Right there. Why is it so small like that? Alright, so there's 1.4. Just got to go down a little bit. There you go. Maybe a little bit over there. Okay, and then 1.4, the final answer. Yeah, so this whole portion here is under that. Okay, right, that part. And this is how it would be easier if they presented it like this. And there you go. Just like that. Yeah, Lisa Belson came through again. All right, so look how easy that is now to understand, just looking at it like that. Item 1.1 is a swab of the front strap of the knife sheath. The DNA profile obtained from 1.1 was determined to be from an unknown male. That's Brian Koberger. Ethan Chapin and some other guys were excluded. The DNA profile was entered into the combined DNA index system. We know they did that with Koberger's DNA. To be routinely searched against the database. The case agency will be notified if in the event of a profile match. It did not. And we know Bill Thompson authorized forensic genetic genealogy. So there you go. Did we get to the, did we match the 5? All right. Let's see, then we have, so we know that, so this whole first 1.1 is all Koberger. That's him. That's what they used. 1.2, the swab of the edge on handle portion of knife sheath. And you can just look here. Due to the low level results and limited data, no comparisons can be made. Same thing for 1.3. That's the edge portion of the knife sheath. Swab number 4 is interesting because there's actually misted blood on the back of the knife sheath, and those are Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan. Ethan Chapin and Xander Kernodle have been excluded, and this whole segment right here absolutely proves that there's only there's only 3 different people that are determined to be the blood on the knife sheath. And that's Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, and then we know later they determined this blood here was, or not blood, the DNA was like touch DNA, was Brian Kohberger's. Okay? So there you go. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. Very cool, very cool. Wow, this is awesome to have this. So I'm just going to save this one out. Then the Kohberger's folder. Probably even, let's call it Sheath DNA results. Right there, boom. That's how that would have been way easier to understand if it was like written like that. Not that it was hard, anyways. But all right. Hey, thanks so much, Chris O'Connell. All right, we're almost getting back to somewhat of a normal type of a night tonight. Let's see. Following your footsteps. Yeah. I mean, you guys are so generous. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. So that's really kind of what I was wanted to figure out, and we did it. Absolutely figured it out. What else do we think might be I mean, the thing is that's it. Okay. There wasn't any other DNA of Kohberger's in the house. There wasn't any DNA in the vehicle. Now, I don't know if you guys watched what I said on the show tonight, but I think I was pretty accurate on what I was saying. I said that I think that the before going into the house, I think he went into the house right around like 4:12 or 4:13, and before he went into the house, he did blood spatter mitigation, set up a plastic bag or something on the ground, got it ready. Then he goes to, then I think he may have even hang out in the woods for a while and kind of watched and looked, was looking to see what was going on. And then he finally went into the house. Then he went upstairs and, he killed all the victims upstairs. And then Xana Kernodle probably heard something, went up. Then he chased her down, then killed her and Ethan Chapin. And he just didn't get a lot of blood on his feet. He had blood on his hands, obviously, and the knife, right? So he goes outside, and then with the gloves that he has on, he takes the gloves off, the knife, the sheath, I mean, not the sheath, the knife, and he sort of wraps it all up, and then he was able to kind of contain any blood into separate bags, but he's never really certain, so then he goes home and he spends time cleaning. We know from Bill Thompson, he said that the knife sheath, or not the knife, let's see, he said that, I don't know why I said knife sheath. He said that the car was, looked like it had been disassembled because there wasn't even any sort of dust or sort of dirt accumulation in places that we'd normally have that. So Kohberger had really meticulously cleaned that car, and so when they went and there was very little, if any, blood got into that car in the first place. So there is nothing in that car, and it makes sense to me. And Kohberger, took classes to learn how to, what not to do at a crime scene to contaminate it, etc. Here, hold on a second. Where's that picture? I'm gonna take a picture of this. Hey, thanks, Danny Shirley. Love you too. I'm gonna take a picture of this. second. I'm sending this to Vinny, Addie, and Koberger. 1.1 is all right. There we go. Sounds like other guests. They're trying to get it all figured out. They probably have to put something out. Anyways, there you go. There you go. Please don't. Who? Oh, I'm sure he's got pen pals for sure. No doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, you don't think there's girls out there writing Koberger? Give me a break. Of course they are. I mentioned East. It would have possibly changed what we thought was right. It just wasn't. You know, that's the thing, is I knew that wasn't going to be likely, just given we've already heard what the theory is of the case. It makes the most sense of the theories, and it wouldn't make any sense at all if the other two victims' blood was on, or DNA was on the knife sheath. Okay. All right, we need six more just to get to the minimum goal. If you guys have the ability to do that, 6 more channel memberships, that would get us to the minimum. And then if we get, let's see, 16 more, then I'll donate 5 memberships myself. Then that'll be 21 more. That'd be pretty sweet. Did I watch What Court Hearing today? No, I didn't. What court hearing are you talking about? Oh, did they have a court hearing about whether or not he has to owe money? Something like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not Vinny's fault, you know. He has to, you know, he's got so many cases he covers. He has to rely on what, you know, producers or whoever it is that gathers the information to put in front of him. I can't imagine doing what he does. That's just, I mean, it's pretty tough having to sort of go over different cases on a daily basis. I'm not sure what hearing you're talking about. What hearing? Was it a long one with Hitler? Hey, look at this, Jim Lawn. I was wondering, I haven't seen you in a million years. Let's see.
1.21 gigawatts. What the hell is a gigawatt?
Yeah, look at this. I was going to start the show with this one on. Right here.
When I was on Court TV.
Here, let's do the... Hold on a second. Here we go. Get the audio up on that.
When I was on Court TV, do you guys see that? I'm sure they'll get the obligatory, I can't believe you had Gray on your show, Vinny. I'm never watching again.
God, that's so perfect. Hey, you guys should go out and buy that damn mug on Teespring, man. It's the best. Have you seen it?
When I was on Court TV, do you guys see that? I'm sure they'll get the obligatory, I can't believe you had Gray on your show, Vinny. I'm never watching again.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Hey, look at Chris O'Connell got another 5. All right, somebody, we need one more to get to the minimum goal, and if we can get another 11 total, then I'll donate 5 channel memberships myself. What do you think of that? By the way, I'm working on a video of Tyler Robinson being the most unlucky person in the world. You know? That's what I'm working on. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's what people always put in the comments. Yeah, hey, just for the hell of it, you guys. Tomorrow when they put the video out of my segment, go watch and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. By the way, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but one of these assholes actually commented on my wife's Facebook page and said, "Oh, your husband is a vile pile of crap. You know, he did, blah, blah, blah." And, you know, she doesn't really know how to run everything, so we had to, like, lock down her freaking Facebook page. I mean, what a joke these people are. Can you believe that? I mean, they act like they're so high and mighty, and yet they're the most disgusting people that there ever was. Okay? Yeah. Okay, Wild Bill Wasserman said, another challenge, freaks. Gift 5 more memberships, and I'll match 5. There you go. Look at that, you guys. We got another, come on, Wild Bill Wasserman. We got a Wild Bill Wasserman challenge. It is crossing the line. Well, everything they do is crossing the line. There's actually these different places out there where they spend their whole day trying to attack and make me look bad all over the place. Now, you know, I mean, what they do is out of a 4-hour show, they take the segments where I'm saying, hey, you guys, you know, I'm frustrated for not getting the goals and everything. And, well, look at that. Chris O'Connell did it. Wild Bill Wasserman, just like that. And they edited it together to make it appear a certain way. You know, and there was that one, remember the one case with the, what do you call it? What was the name of the case with the guy up in the mountains who killed his 3 daughters? Remember that one? He killed his 3 daughters. I forgot his name for some reason. And then there was a GoFundMe for the funeral expenses for the wife, and it got up to 1.2 million. And I was like, man, that's ridiculous. I mean, 1.2 million. You know, and I was just thinking to myself, yeah, I was just thinking that just seemed crazy. They got up to 1.2 million, you know, because the children aren't alive. And so, I mean, I guess it helps her and everything like that. But at the time, that's just what popped into my head because it just seems so unusual. I've never seen anything like that. But, you know. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wasserman, for doing the, what do you call it, the challenge, and then Chris O'Connell matched it, and then Wild Bill Wasserman, and look at that, Kathy JG just did it. Anyways, they made a whole video about that, and people reference it like I'm some monster of some sort because I said that. Don't you guys find that a little weird? I mean, you know, 1.2 million, you know, I mean, I guess for the funeral expenses, I mean, I get that part, but then after that, it's just, I don't know. To me, it just seemed like I just made just a side comment like, wow, that's a lot. Or something, you know, like, wow, that's weird or something. I don't know. It just seemed, to me, it just seemed like that's just what I thought at the time. I didn't make any value judgments on the mom or anything. I just thought it was a crazy number. It's, I don't know. So they made a whole video and they kind of edited it to make it seem a certain way. And that video is no longer with us anymore. Yeah. Let's see. And they basically, there's a channel out there that uses my face, my name, on every single video they make. And it's all hit pieces, every single one of them, because they were scorned or, you know, something happened to them at some point on my channel. I don't know what the hell it was, but it's pretty wild. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have seen it. Now, that's the thing. A lot of people have seen it. And YouTube knows that they're aware that channel is not it's just, all it is a harassment and bullying channel that has no rational, it's just, all it is, you know, the name of the channel implies that there are other people out there, but all they do is make videos about my channel. And it's just, it's ridiculous. So, page 1308, you will find the DNA results for comparison to BK. All right. Thank you. Let's go check it out. Yeah, they are. These people are sick people. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I could be better, like, when I'm doing my show. I'm not I've said this 1,000 times, I'm not a charity collection company. I don't even ever say that that's what I am. What I try to do is bring in income on my channel, and then at the end of the month, I can try to give away lots of money to various true crime related charities. That's it. You know? There's no, you know, I don't say, hey, you know, send me money and this is what we do. You know, this is what it's all for charity, everybody. I say, you're supporting my channel. And there's a certain amount where, you know, if we only reach that, then I wouldn't be able to donate money. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't even know how I can explain it better to people. It's crazy. Yeah, well, they yeah, another one of their videos bit the dust today, so we're just gonna have to see, you know, where this all leads. I mean, these people are sick, you know. Let's see. I don't understand why YouTube. Oh, I think they're getting close to that because I'm in contact with somebody on YouTube and they don't stand for that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just a complete bullying and harassing YouTube channel that has there's nothing in it that's reasonable or rational. They take stuff out of context in videos. There are things that I say, but they put it together in a way that makes it seem a certain way to them. Anyways, I didn't see the hearing today. Is it out there? Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I didn't see it. Maybe you can send me a link to where we can watch. Is it how long is the hearing? Maybe we can watch it. I mean, I guess I could have watched it. It was probably on the same channel that it's always on. Was Koberger there? It sounds like they're not going to force him to pay the extra money. No what? No, no, he wasn't there. Okay. I didn't see it. Let's see. Koberger hearing today. Oh, there it is. Okay. Here, let me do this differently. Hold on a second. Maybe I can, if the audio's shitty or something, we can fix it. I'm just downloading it. And working on... Also, somebody sent me... I got a whole bunch of the January... Remember that January 6th? There was that bombing attempt? There's all this new footage on that. That might be kind of interesting. Right, hold on. I'm just getting this. Alright. So, right here. Save. Did it work? Koberger. Oh, I have to go to the folder. There it is. All right, I'm going to put it into Premiere. And then maybe we can, if the audio sucks, I can fix it. Is it low? Let's see.
Before we...
That's pretty good. Should we do the first part?
All right, let's go on the record.
It's good just to see Hitler, you know. I like him. I don't like the fact that he, you know, I mean, I don't, I like him. He just had to do what he had to do in the, with the, you know, the way things work.
All right, let's go on the record in State v. Koberger, CR 0124316665. The defendant has been excused from today's proceedings. It is not present. The defense is
I haven't seen Nader Bader.
represented by Ms. Massoff, Ms. Taylor, and Ms. Barlow. State is represented by Mr. Thompson. This is a time set for a hearing on the state's supplemental request for restitution. The state can argue first.
Thank you, Your Honor. The attached documentation, it doesn't appear that there's a question about the amounts. I think the question that has been raised is whether the propriety of any additional restitution being ordered at this point. Yesterday afternoon, we did receive a supplemental filing from the defense, and I want to respond to that just for the record before I address the merits.
I'll tell you what, we need 6 more memberships to get to 60. That would be a pretty cool number. And then I'll jump in there.
Of the restitution requests themselves. As we indicated in our response to the defense objection to the additional restitution request, at the time that we entered into the plea agreement, Ms. Jennings and I were under the impression that crime victims' compensation could be available to cover reimbursement of travel expenses. And I have to clarify that now. It is true that before trial, the families approached our office asking if there were any resources we were available to pay in advance for travel expenses or expenses related to them attending trial itself. And we looked into that, our staff looked into that, and advised them no. It was my understanding, and I'm mistaken, I realized I was mistaken at this point, but it was my understanding back in early July, late June, when we were talking about the plea agreement, that crime victims compensation could be available to reimburse expenses like that. I now know that's not correct, and it was certainly my mistake. I will own it. as far as our state of mind going into the plea agreement.
So
That being said,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish the point on the plea agreement, and then I have a question for you about that.
And I was just finishing that point, Your Honor, so this would be a good time.
Okay. So it's pretty well settled that plea agreements are interpreted as contracts, which they are. I think it's pretty well settled contract law that a unilateral mistake does not relieve one of its contractual obligations and restrictions. So how can I how can I order this restitution if the express terms of the plea
It
agreement?
seems so crazy to me that they're still dealing with this level of just, you know, stuff right now.
Though mistaken understanding by the state don't allow such extra crime victims compensation fund reimbursement.
And Your Honor, I recognize that, and that's what I was just getting ready to address. In response to the defense's objection, the state has modified or adjusted our position on the restitution. We are, pursuant to the plea agreement, seeking restitution for the funeral-related expenses, which are the urns that are described in Exhibit 2 to our response. We are not affirmatively advocating for the travel expenses and lodging expenses of the family because we do not believe that we can legally advocate for those. At the same time, the families provided those to us, and we want to provide them to the court and counsel just so everybody was aware that they are there, but we are not arguing affirmatively for that because of the wording of the plea agreement itself. So what the state is actually requesting today is just additional restitution for the funeral-related expenses, which are the urns for the families.
Okay, thank you. And you can address the other issues as well.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, which other issues?
Well, the issues, if you would like, raised in opposition to your motion, including the lack of ability to pay by a defendant and et cetera.
Thanks, Wild
Yes,
Bill
thank you, Your
Wassman.
Honor. I apologize.
Thank you, Wild Bill Wassman and Chris O'Connell.
The defendant has raised the issue of his alleged inability to pay, and we recognize that he's going to be incarcerated until he dies. But that in and of itself doesn't mean that over the course of the balance of his life, he might become, he might receive assets. And in fact, we attached a breakdown of the types of monies that he has received during his incarceration.
Right.
We also noted the statute that.
Yeah, I think they need to, I don't know how to work that part, like commissary, you know. I think what you should do is, I don't know how you would do it, but if you can't give it, I mean, if you give us commissary money to the families, then people aren't going to send in any commissary money. So it's got to be some other thing, you know. I mean, I guess that's great if he doesn't get any extra money to buy candy bars or whatever, or soap on a rope.
It allows the treasurer to intercept prospective monies that might be received based on any attempted publication of the story of the defendant. And those, if received, would be something that a restitution order could be enforced against. We also note that the language of the statute and the case law interpreting the restitution statute, which is 1953-04, if I believe off the top of my head, talks about current inability to pay is not necessarily a block to the order of restitution. It's just merely a factor for the court to consider. And it is our position, given the relative youth of the defendant, the fact that he has been receiving significant monies during his incarceration already, and that there is a possibility of future monies, whether by virtue of the statute with the treasurer impounding proceeds from a story related to this, or perhaps from an inheritance from his family or others We can't see into the future. We don't have a perfect crystal ball. The state's position is having this additional restitution place, which is really fairly minimal, would be appropriate, and have them available that if the defendant comes into assets, that the families would be able to try to satisfy the restitution orders from them.
Thank you. And then who's arguing for defense?
I will be, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you. Given that the state has clarified its position that it's only seeking reimbursement for the earns, it's my understanding that that amount is $1,420 for one family, $1,587.79, and then another $167.79, which would be a total, I believe, if my math is right, of $3,075.58. My understanding of reading the Victims Compensation Code 1953-04 is that the court must still do an analysis on Mr. Koberger's ability to pay. And as the state has addressed, we are arguing that he does not have an ability to pay. While there have been lump sums provided to you regarding some funds that he received prior to his plea agreement, what the court does not have is a breakdown of how those funds came into the inmate system for his expenses and the fact that they were primarily family. Certainly his situation pre-plea and sentencing was drastically different than it is right now in terms of money that is available to him. And there's nothing in the record to provide the court with anything other than what is really speculation based on the past.
Man, this should have gone to trial, man. God. Isn't it just frustrating as hell? This thing, I mean, man, just imagine this judge and just the whole thing would have just been amazing. I in some ways though, I don't have a lot of faith in this guy selling, the facts the way they should be.
As opposed to something that the court might be able to rely upon about foreseeability. There's no way that Mr. Koberger is ever going to profit from any sort of movie or book because Idaho Code 1953-01 specifically precludes that.
Well, it allows that monies are swept from his account for those income to pay certain things. If there's no debt for those certain things, then does the money not go then to the defendant?
That is not my reading of the code. Perhaps I'm reading that statute more broadly than the court is. I understood it to be that the purpose is that someone can't then profit off of their crime pursuant to that statute. I guess I need to read it with
even allowing your reading of it. What's to prevent, for example, a family member from agreeing to provide information, be a part of, etc., a story, movie, book, whatever, TV series about the murders, about Mr. Koberger, and that certainly wouldn't be monies they receive wouldn't be subject to the statute, and then they certainly would be free to send Mr. Koberger money to his account. What harm is it to order the restitution, which would then sort of jump in line in terms of priority of payments over some of the other ordered payments, such that if Mr. Koberger does receive money into his accounts from any source, that he's then that those monies are then put to that use. Certainly, we're not worried about Mr. Koberger's credit rating with having debts at this point. I'm not sure what the concern would be to, given the uniqueness of this case and the potential for family members, et cetera, to earn money from it, and potentially for We've seen members of the public send money to Mr. Koberger, is my understanding, to his books.
Yeah, they're gonna give him tons of money for a movie.
What's the downside to?
Didn't it sound like he paused because I said something? That was so weird. Oh man.
Ensuring that the victims are as whole as possible from this by ordering the restitution, which again would jump in line from some of the other court-ordered fines, et cetera. And if the money's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not.
Judge, I don't see that Idaho code or Idaho law asks the court to make an analysis on the downside, but whether or not there is foreseeability of payment. And all of the things that you just listed are pure speculation. There is no book or movie that's in the works by any of his family, and to say that those things are going to happen is absolutely speculative, and there's nothing to substantiate those sorts of assertions happening in the future. So
well, there's a history in the 3 years he was incarcerated of him receiving 5 figures put on his books. Doesn't that give the court some history to suggest that such contributions from whatever source may continue into the future?
As I stated earlier, Judge,
I think the family should be upset because what they're doing on TikTok is the actors are pretending they're Maddie and Kaylee and being woo and doing these things to try to do like a build up to something. I mean, it's just, I think that's really, I don't know, something doesn't feel right about that.
That was at a different time in the case. That was at a time when, he had not entered a
And if you're watching the show, if you could please consider supporting the channel, maybe we could help make up for a little bit of yesterday. That'd be great. Thank you.
plea. He was not deemed convicted of the crime. The money, a lot of that money was coming from his family to be able to have communications with their son and brother. And to speculate that those kinds of dollars are going to be able to happen for the next many decades is exactly that. It's pure speculation, not based on something that is foreseeable or based in something that's in fact before this court.
Well, it just seems to me that one of the, really, obviously, even application of statute requires the court to look at what might happen into the future. And
I got
I
this,
guess, it seems to me.
I mean, these hearings are for the public, but this one was on East Idaho News. There's a whole bunch of other, these are public viewing. Nobody owns the right to these.
To me, one of the best indicators of the future is the past. And in the past, his family has, you're saying the family was the source of much of these funds, has provided him funds in order for him to communicate, et cetera. That necessity will still exist going forward. I'm not aware of his family having disowned him at this point and not wanting any contact with him. And even if they are, that doesn't mean that won't change. And you call it speculation. It seems to me that it is good evidence of what may occur in the future in light of what has occurred in the past.
Well, Judge, there is a judgment against him in the amount of $28,000, and certainly 20% of every dollar that goes into his inmate account is going to go towards paying that $28,000. Another factor that the court actually can look at under 1953-04 subsection 7 is other factors, and those factors that other factors that the court deems appropriate, and that can be collateral resources that the families obtained over $200,000, which definitely reimburse the cost of the earns in terms of economic costs.
I also want to turn to the plea agreement, because isn't a reasonable interpretation of the plea agreement that the defendant will not contest the state's seeking of restitution that is outlined in the plea agreement? Otherwise, why would it need to be in the plea agreement? It seems to me it's the plea agreement, a reasonable interpretation is the defendant is agreeing to pay restitution for those items that are identified in the plea agreement, which includes victims' compensation, which includes in this case funeral expenses. So you took advantage of the plea agreement to get the benefit of the bargain regarding the state's dropping of the death penalty. Why should you not be held to the plea agreement to pay the victims the costs of interning their children?
Judge, I believe that our pleading was clear, that we understood that burns fell underneath a funeral cost, but that once we have a hearing on this matter, that doesn't eliminate the court's duty under 1953-04 to do the ability to pay analysis. And that's why.
Well, are you in violation of the plea agreement by arguing that your client shouldn't have to pay those?
We are not in violation of the plea agreement. If there was any violation of the plea agreement that took place, it's the state seeking this when the other expenses, when it was clear under statute and under the Idaho Victims Compensation rules that those were not reimbursable expenses.
But they've effectively withdrawn those requests and are seeking what's outlined in the plea agreement. What's the point of the plea agreement on restitution if the defense is able to argue against the restitution called for in the plea agreement itself?
Judge, again, in our pleading, we objected to what the state has withdrawn as of this moment at this hearing today.
Right.
We acknowledge that the earns were funeral expenses.
Right.
But once we're in a situation of
Really, Blaze? Somebody made a movie like that?
Having a hearing, then this other section about whether or not he has an ability to pay is triggered. We stipulated to $28,000 in restitution within 60 days.
Right.
He met the terms of the plea agreement.
But it also says the state may seek restitution regarding funeral expenses, and they're simply identifying additional funeral expenses.
I don't know what more you want me to say about the earns other than
what's the point of the plea agreement if you're not going to be bound by it?
I agreed that it was $3,075.
I don't think Judge Hippler is enjoying having you do these little nuanced things to try to help out the life of Koberger. It's like, man, you had a plea agreement, I don't know. I guess maybe was the plea agreement worded weirdly? Because I think Olivia was telling me that maybe the plea agreement wasn't worded quite right, and then
58 cents.
But you say you shouldn't have to pay it.
What I said was that the court needs to do the analysis under Idaho code about his ability to pay.
Why hasn't the defendant waived his right to rely on that ability to pay by agreeing to those expenses as part of the plea agreement?
I don't know how the court can enter this order today without engaging in the analysis under Idaho code because it's required. That's the way I review the case law and the code, that once there's a hearing about restitution, then the court has to engage in the analysis on the ability to pay.
So the agreement to pay is illusory.
No, he agreed to $28,000. We've agreed that the earns fall underneath.
Does he have the ability to pay that?
Expense. No, he does not have the ability.
So why did you agree to it?
Because it was a specific, we were provided
wouldn't
with
you love to
those
see this?
receipts within 60 days. We were not provided with the receipt for the earns within 60 days.
So is your objection then a timeliness objection?
We did raise a timeliness objection in our pleading. I have thought about that and whether or not I think that it is a really valid argument to say that that's completely jurisdictional. I didn't to mean that the court can't take this under the review at this point in time. I didn't read.
It's good to see Hippler with that same look.
in such a strict fashion that I felt like we could say
that's the same look he had on his face the whole time.
61 days means the court's not going to not going to consider it at all. So it is past your 60-day deadline, but I don't know that that is completely jurisdictional in the way that you drafted your judgment.
Well, he's going to decide on this, right?
Anything else?
No.
Thank you.
Oh, look
Mr.
at that.
Thompson, any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll take the matter under advisement.
Yeah,
Issue-
Koberger's not winning this hearing, okay? So whatever this hearing was, he's not winning it. There's no way in hell. That's funny. I mean, there are people out there there's no way in hell he's going to rule in the favor of Koberger on this. Right? I mean, that was hilarious. That was perfect. Let's see. Ways. Okay, yeah. So I guess that's what this article is about today. This one. It's no ability to pay. Koberger's Idaho defense fends off more victim restitution. Yeah, but the judge isn't going to. Hitler sentenced Koberger for 4 consecutive life terms plus $300,000 more than 3 months ago. I mean, does anybody think that he's gonna win anything? I mean, he's gonna have to owe less. I mean, I don't know. I think it's complete garbage. Let's see. Yeah, they're all sending him money. All right. Well, I don't really have a ton of extra stuff to be talking about, but you guys have any thoughts? Maybe we can make it a shorter evening, I guess. I don't know. Sending him money. What about the money? Oh, yeah. Did you guys see the... Erica Kirk was on with Waters tonight. Did you guys watch that? I thought the thing is people... I watched that and I just thought, man, she's such a strong person, just trying to get through something so horrible. And I watched it, and she thinks that the investigators are doing a great job. It sounds like she's kind of aware of like how things are going, and doesn't it matter what he owes if he can't? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like that's why I think the judge isn't going to give a damn. He's just going to, whatever the state's asking for, he's just going to say it. I mean, why not? I think anytime there's a movie or anything like that he consults on, and his family is getting money, I think part of that needs to go to, the fund, the restitution fund. Yeah, well, she was on Waters for the whole hour. It's pretty amazing. Let's see. Saw a short on that. He gets tons of money from crazy women. Where's that? I don't know. Let's see. This is one from... Well, it says updated November 6th. So this must be on the East Coast. Let's just see what this says. All right. I'm switching topics. This is just one of the articles that I had sitting here. So it says, viral claims that Tyler Robinson, accused of killing Charlie Kirk, was released are false. This is at I think Hindustan Times has become sort of another Daily Mail. Viral claims that Tyler Robinson, accused of killing Charlie Kirk, was released are false. Who thought that, though? He remains jailed with the next hearing in January. There's 2 hearings in January. Yeah, she's been attacked all over the place. I'm just waiting. I can just tell you, I feel like Candace Owens is going to attack Erica Kirk at some point. She's sort of building up to it. You know, she's trying to act like she's not, but she's already kind of insinuated stuff a few times. And at some point, she's going to have to do it. Hey, welcome. I'm not sure how to say that. Natasha Stanchik. Did I do pretty good? But hey, guys, if you want to help support the channel tonight, that'd be great. We got a... Yesterday was the worst night in 2 months, so it'd be cool to, you know, sort of offset that slightly. I mean, I don't know if that's possible, but we're still not as at the levels of some of the rest of the 4 nights of the month. I think he should have to work in jail to laundry. You know, why don't they do this? Like, why don't inmates... well, you guys have heard my idea. I think prison should be self-sustaining. And I think what they should do is have, humans generate electricity on bicycles. They pedal all day, get some exercise, and they kind of rotate around. So one day you're in the electrical generation where you're pedaling on bikes and you're generating storage for batteries for, watching TV, the lights, etc., etc., etc. And then there's other people outside that there's farming that goes on. So you grow your vegetables and all that kind of stuff. And maybe you teach them skills on how to do that. And maybe perhaps even have like a windmill or something just on there to teach them a skill on that portion of it. And I just think it'd be a cool way to do it where a lot of their costs are offset. There's no food costs, or maybe there's some, but, just kind of try to limit it quite a bit. And then maybe you get an exercise in and, they probably feel like they're part of a team of some sort. Teach them a skill. I think that's one of the biggest problems is when they're done, like they don't know how to do anything. 30 years in there, what are you going to do? Yep. The bird feeder joke. We saw it, Jim. Which one was the... I don't remember the bird feeder joke. Let's see. I bet it was cooking laundry. Yeah, well, I would do it where you have these different things, So first of all, you have the people that pedal the bikes, and then you have other people that sort of learn how to repair the bikes, get them working again, and then you have people that that do the gardening, the growing of vegetables and so forth, and make it a competition kind of thing where and then you rotate around, and then you say, oh wow, do you see how many they blah, 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 blah. It just feels like they're doing something instead of just sitting around doing absolutely nothing, lifting weights, What a waste of time. Huh? What do you mean they get paid for? Oh, you mean whatever, the commissary money. The bird seed joke. I don't remember that one. Let's see. Hold away and needing to prevent. But let's see. So we did have the new channel member there, but we're on a massive lull in here, you guys. Have you noticed that? Like the entire time the video is being played, and up till now we've just dropped off a cliff. So Not sure. Be kind of nice if we could keep on, making up for yesterday. Yesterday was like a quarter or a third of what we're at right now just on tonight's show. Let's see. Heck, they get iPads on TV now. Yeah. But make it so they have to pedal for the electricity that runs those things. I think that would work pretty good. Claims are going viral, it says. Claims are going viral on social media that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, was released from prison. However, the claims are completely baseless. Who thought that? The claims are part of the conspiracy theories surrounding the death of Turning Point founder at Utah Valley University, which claims Kirk was assassinated as part of a larger conspiracy plotted by Israel over Kirk's alleged fallout with Israel donors. Let me guess, somebody out there, let's see, there's a guy that's walking around that has a same hat on, etc. Tyler Robinson, who last appeared in Utah County Court on October 30th, is currently lodged at the Utah County Jail in Spanish Fork. Yep, Robinson was first produced in court on September 16th. There's only one hearing in October. Yeah, so there's going to be 2 hearings in January. I think those ones might be pretty interesting. Let's see. And now Judge Tony Graff is... All right. All right, you guys. Well, I think that's going to do it tonight. I don't really have much more to cover. And, a lot of people complain that the shows are 3 hours long. So I guess we'll just have to end the show and see what we're doing tomorrow. Plus, you can always tell when the chat's kind of slowed down dramatically. I know they call him Tony... it's like he's a judge, for God's sakes, Yeah, the discovery hearings, I think, should be pretty good. I would think. Maybe they're like, let's see, for being here tonight and supporting. Yeah, anyways, I know it's a little shorter than normal, but I appreciate everybody being here and supporting the channel, etc. But whenever I see like the chat really slowing down and hardly anybody's talking, and that's when you know it's kind of like not much is happening at that point.
I haven't heard It's a House in a while.
You haven't heard It's a House? Oh, we did it at the beginning of the show.
It's a house!
There you go.
Huh?
Anyways, I think we got a lot of interesting stuff tonight. And by the way, make sure to watch Court TV tomorrow when the segment where I'm on it, and you'll see all the comments of the people going, "I can't believe it. I'm never watching you again, Vinny." You know how they do it. All right, so thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you guys. Well, let me say thanks to everybody first. We got Lisa with a coffee. And then we had, let's see, Christine, Wild Bill Wassman, Christine again, and then Lisa Belson. And Lisa Belson gifted 10. And then, let's see, then Lisa Valenzuela, 32 months. Then Bruce Holdaway, been here a month, he said. That's a long time. Tumbleweed. Tumbleweed, 24 months. And then we had It's Amy Darcy Marie, which is, I think that one's pretty good. Let's see. It just went off the screen. That's weird. And then Wild Bill Wassman, Az Lovin, Sandy Shirley, Lisa Belson. And then we had Wild Bill Wassman, gifted 5. So did Lisa Belson. And then Lisa Belson did 10 earlier. And then Chris O'Connell gifted 5, then Sandy Shirley, Jim Lawn, Then we had Chris O'Connell gifted 5. Then he did gifted 5 again. And then Wild Bill Wassman did 5. And then Kathy J.G. gifted 5. And then I gifted 5. And then Wild Bill Wassman did 1. And Chris O'Connell did 1. And then Michelle H. And then Natasha Stanchik gifted 1. Or became a member. And then Jim Law. Ah, very cool, very cool. Well, did you guys find the show at least mildly interesting tonight? I thought it was cool that we actually figured out, thanks for the one person who gave me the right place to be looking. But that really, you know, I think we put it all, that's what I was looking at earlier in the day, and I put a bookmark, but then it disappeared because you can't edit that PDF file. So that makes it a little difficult. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. Wild Bill Wassman, thank you so much for your, you know, doing your challenges and everything. And Lisa Belson for, you know, I mean, all of you guys. Chris O'Connell, Wild Bill Wassman, Lisa Belson. You know, a lot of you guys are, you know, supporting the channel above and beyond. I appreciate it. Kind of have some, this is kind of weird times currently, because there's really no case that's sort of a really big one that everybody's talking about right at the moment. You know, so it's hard. It's pretty difficult. But anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I mean a little speckle with a vector on his specter. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.